American Comics. My Warhammer Simulator Chapter 111 to 120. Open black lens bracket salvage countdown. 0 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket salvage harvest. Mark of Purity Production Manual, 1 volume, close black lens bracket. Annotation. Produced by the state religion. A blessing from the chapter priests. May be useful, may not be useful. Schrodinger's Mark of Purity. Google search to read. The alien blade cannot hurt my brother at all. No enemy within sight will survive a day. My brother's bolter will not cool in the blooming flames. My brother's chainsaw sword will be soaked in the blood of the enemy. Open black lens bracket salvage harvest. A copy of The Word of the Emperor, incomplete, close black lens bracket, please choose carefully. Annotation. Produced by Lorgar Aurelian, one of the traitorous Primarchs, and carried forward by the imperial state religion. Report to the Inquisition. This is just an incomplete copy. Why bother? Bang, explosion roar. Only death is the way, the torch of the Emperor's will, the destruction of the monsters. If I do not doubt, then the Emperor will bless me. Failure and frustration are the power of the fallen Emperor. Maybe he really said. Bang, bomb boom. Open black lens bracket salvaged harvest. Imperial Truth, manuscript, incomplete, close black lens bracket. Note. Produced by the Emperor, violators must be punished. However, how many people are left who offer their loyalty and faith? Open black lens bracket salvaged harvest. Ancient super-phased sword, 1, close black lens bracket. Note. Produced by the Necrons. Human in front, you are indeed destined to ribs. Have you heard of the savior of the galaxy? The only nemesis of the Hive Will, the Silent King? Rorschach's blue wolf eyes swept over the salvaged items one by one. His eyes stayed on the high prices besides food and ammunition, of value. Among them, the ancient super-phase sword is the most valuable. It also suits Rorschach's preferences. There is also a volume of the Pure Mark Production Manual, which is also partially useful. Even if it is used to decorate the armor, it is a beautiful thing. But for the incomplete, Emperor's Word, and Imperial Truth. Rorschach narrowed his eyes and didn't even look at them. He chose to close the simulator's salvage page. He closed his eyes slightly. For a moment, Rorschach's mind was full of thoughts. Now, the many thoughts on the earth are already chaotic enough, and only the incomplete scriptures can't change anything. Finally, Rorschach seemed to make a low sound, murmur. The beating of Lehman Russ's heart seemed to echo in the engine's roaring cabin. How to relieve the worry? Only fight. Dash 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 dash. A few hours later, the people who returned to the base dispersed on the spot. Iron David needed to maintain and repair the Valkyrie transporter. This nighttime dogfight squeezed a lot of engine functions. It caused the machine spirit to be unhappy and needed to be comforted. Jessica, who took off her combat armor, seemed to have overdrawn a lot of energy. She was exhausted and had to go back to her room to rest. Rorschach, who was sleepless, began to wipe the hunter armor and the combat gear with alcohol cotton cloth. Battle armor. Then, he entered the equipment room with a large number of weapons and equipment. Suddenly he remembered the hard disk and crystal ball mixed in the ammunition bag. Rorschach looked down at the neatly arranged spoils, scratched his chin with a fingertip, and fell into deep thought. The hard disk is easy to deal with. It can be handed over to the Iron Man David to crack. But what about the dull crystal ball? The killing was too fast before. There was no time to ask the other party how to use this thing. However, the bull-headed monster Ager seems to be used to control some unknown energy. Maybe it is a special magic product. Forget it. I'd better find a chance to ask a professional who knows the business. Quote. Rorschach narrowed his wolf eyes and chose to give up temporarily. He casually threw the crystal ball on the weapon rack. He turned and walked out of the equipment room. Rorschach, who was still not sleepy, simply washed up. He put on sunglasses and a baseball cap. He planned to go to Gao's Chamber of Commerce to retrieve some firearms. He also went to see his aunt's situation. However, just as Rorschach was about to leave the base, he unexpectedly ran into Connors, who had also not slept all night. At this time, the other party with a sad face was pacing back and forth in the corridor of the base, occasionally moving his one arm. Connors, who looked up inadvertently, saw Rorschach's tall figure at a glance. He opened his eyes wide and hurriedly ran up to say, "Rorschach, I stayed up late last night to check some documents and materials related to the compound. You need to stop the other party from mass production as soon as possible. Based on my own knowledge and insights and the vague records in the materials, this compound is probably only effective for humans in childhood, and adults are basically dead after injection. If it is leaked accidentally, it will not be a good thing whether it is abused by drug addicts or caused a trend of imitating superheroes." Quote. Rorschach took off his sunglasses and looked at the anxious teacher Connors. He subconsciously showed his fangs. He said helplessly, Teacher, Roxxon Industries has basically been removed from the list. Their CEO and the board of directors have been wiped out. I can't even help. And there are only some preliminary and final tasks left for David to handle. We will find ways to obtain more information about the compound for you to facilitate your next research. I only ask for one thing. Whether it is the compound or your amputated limb regeneration potion, any human body-related information is prohibited until we are completely sure. Experimental project. I understand, I'm not a mad scientist. A visibly relieved Connors smiled coyly. He used one arm to tidy up his loose blonde hair, turned around and walked towards the unfinished laboratory. Rorschach put on his sunglasses again and shook his head slightly. Went deep into the passage. Suddenly, the entire base fell into a long silence. Only bright lights illuminate every dark corner. Just in the empty equipment room. Puff! A wisp of black mist as thick as a hair suddenly rose from the bolter. He quickly rushed towards the dim crystal ball on the weapon rack. Kakaka, accompanied by a slight cracking sound, as well as the disembodied howls of animals, or the screams of soul-destroying screams. The obviously thicker black mist slowly floated back into the bolter. He slowly hid his figure. And the crystal ball that he knew nothing about completely turned into a pile of fine powder, slightly reflecting the dreamlike colorful luster. Dash 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 dash. Half a day later, Rorschach returned to the base with a box of Chinese takeout in his hand. He gave up on his aunt. He turned around and walked into his own lounge. Rorschach sat cross-legged on the metal bed. After thinking about it, I reopened the simulator. Rorschach stared at the inflated cooling time above. He couldn't help but grin and show his fangs. The remaining 1,079 hours plus the 1,500 hours just extracted. A total of 2,579 hours of resources. Rorschach took a deep breath. He did not hesitate to erase the remaining 770 hours of cooling time. Decided to do the next simulation. The Emperor's Blessing, open black lens bracket simulation starting, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket current identity, Space Wolf Bloodclaw, subspace close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket please select your identity first close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket if you refuse, you will descend immediately close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket identity selection has been refused close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket simulation starting, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket you descended into the Warhammer universe close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket time, unknown close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket location, Galaxy Outland unknown void close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket you descended into a battle barge named Water Monster, close black lens bracket. You are inside a private cabin. Open black lens bracket right behind you, a huge water tank occupies 1/3 of the room area. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket you are wearing a set of Mark V Rebellion power armor with mixed parts. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A pale and skinny little boy reluctantly held up a metal helmet to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. His slightly shining eyes were blue and red, and his irises seemed to have undergone some kind of mutation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You breathed in the humid air and subconsciously took the heavy helmet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You saw the smiling little boy, revealing the incomplete development of teeth caused by long-term malnutrition. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Name. You lowered your head and asked. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your deep voice is like a rough eraser scratching the smooth glass, extremely harsh. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. My name is S. Sponge, Pa, Lord Padrick, the hesitant little boy stammered. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You can't help but grin, revealing a row of sharp white teeth like a shark. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drive the power armor you have put on and walk to the broken mirror in the cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You see a bald Astartes brother without hair. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your skin color is as pale as the dead, and even the sclera in your eyes is completely black. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stare at this set of mixed parts of the rebel power armor, and the shark mark printed on the gray ceramic steel surface. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seem to remember the Astartes with similar features. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Space sharks. Carcharodon. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You hear the cautious urging from the little boy Sponge. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He reminds you that the short lunchtime is coming. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You let Spongy lead you out of the cabin, through the complex and ever-changing passages, and headed to the lower cabin of the battle barge. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You came to a wide space called the crab-shaped hall by Spongy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You saw countless mortals coming to collect food, and there were about 3,000 people just by visual estimation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also saw the Astartes monks mixed in the crowd. Close black lens bracket. They were wearing mixed power armor and almost all had the same pale gray skin, but only a few had completely black sclera. Open black lens bracket. You sat in an empty corner. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stared at the excited little boy Spongy's agile steps and agile body through a large number of people and went to the hatch to collect food. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You got a small bowl of nutritious porridge mixed with ceramic powder and about a liter of fresh water. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You frowned and ate a spoonful of the tasteless nutritious porridge. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You look expressionlessly at the little boy, Spangy, who is carefully holding a bowl of corpse pink that is as light as water, and sips it reluctantly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your keen senses notice a strong mortal warrior who has just walked past you with a plate of fragrant unknown beast meat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Spangy, watch my bowl. Don't eat secretly, mortals will choke to death. You told the little boy and slowly stood up. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drive the power armor and stride towards the hatch for collecting food. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Instantly, a large number of mortals, whether warriors or servants, make way for you one by one. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Dozens of Astartes monks who are eating look at each other, and their eyes seem to be full of confusion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your power armor blocks the hatch for collecting food. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You reach out your arm and grab a mortal chef who is responsible for distributing food. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Why can my servants only eat corpse starch, while others can eat meat? You stare expressionlessly at the mortal chef with cold sweat on his forehead. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The fat body of the other party hanging in the air is shaking violently, and his mouth opens and closes several times but fails to make a sound. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Padrick 5020 of the reconnaissance team, I order you to put him down. A deeper voice came from behind you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You move the heavy power armor and look back. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A sepia monk wearing a burly and heavy Terminator power armor, with a Terminator cross and several prayers on the edge of the shoulder armor, and 3 ancient iron skulls hanging on his waist, slowly walks towards you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You try to judge the identity information of the other party from the respectful actions and words of the nearby sepia monks. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You quickly let go of the huge palm holding the mortal chef's collar. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You performed a regiment salute to the sepia monk wearing Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain. You didn't know the other party's name, and subconsciously made a reasonable judgment based on the preciousness of the Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Why do you arbitrarily humiliate mortals? Have you forgotten the Astartes Codex and your dignity as an Astartes monk? The deep voice from the captain was like an exploding mine, ringing in your ears. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You cleverly waited for the other party to finish questioning, and then explained the whole story in detail. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The captain of the third company named Shawan stared at you expressionlessly, as if there was no emotion in his black sclera. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He walked to the side of the mortal chef and leaned over to listen to his story. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also learned that the food supply of this battle barge and even the entire war group was running low. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The reason why those mortal warriors received meat food was because they were a group of mortal auxiliary troops called Devours. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They were about to participate in a fierce battle and received additional food compensation. That might be the last meal in their short lives. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were silent for a moment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You turned around and apologized to the mortal chef. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also admitted your mistake to the expressionless Captain Shawan again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Shawan accepted your apology, and at the same time, he used his own food share to take a portion of unknown beast meat and handed it to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Padrick, the never-ending ships are our only home. We were once the Forsaken, but now we have changed. Although they are mortal servants, they are also the people of Langu Emperor. I don't want to encounter this kind of thing again. The expressionless Captain Siobhan's low voice once again reached your ears. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stared with a pair of dark eyes, revealing sharp teeth like a shark. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You made a small suggestion to the other party. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You volunteered to participate in this combat mission of the Mortal Auxiliary Army. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You planned to atone for your sins and try to bring them back alive. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The expressionless Captain Siobhan rolled his dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He seemed to hesitate for a moment, and finally agreed to your request. Close black lens bracket. Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. The little boy Spangy gnawed the fragrant unknown beast meat with an excited expression. Open black lens bracket. You subconsciously reminded him not to eat too much, lest his fragile stomach could not bear it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Gary told me, said, people, human stomachs are, there is no limit, it's delicious. Spangy said to you incoherently, and the grease almost soaked his pale and thin face. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You quickly finished the hard-to-swallow nutritious porridge. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You asked Gary's identity in confusion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The little boy Spangy stuttered to tell you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Gary is his father, who was once a mortal maintenance technician of power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just a few hundred ship days ago, his father died of overwork due to long-term lack of food. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Boy, go back and take care of my room. After the battle, I will continue to treat you to meat. You suddenly grinned with a blank expression, revealing a mouthful of sharp teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly got up while driving the power armor and left the crab-shaped hall. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You found the location of the armory by asking passers-by. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You reported the operation code of the Mortal Auxiliary Army to the Logistics Quartermaster. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You received an ancient Raven-type chainsaw axe and a Mark III Godwin-type bolter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You hung 2 weapons on the power armor. Close black lens bracket. You stared at the Logistics Quartermaster who wanted to turn around and leave. Open black lens bracket. Your eyes revealed confusion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Where is the ammunition? Where are the grenades? You stretched out your hand to stop the Logistics Quartermaster. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Ah. According to the unwritten rules of the chapter, can't an ordinary operation only use 1 round of ammunition? Grenade. I haven't seen it for thousands of ship days. The confused Logistics Quartermaster opened his eyes in confusion and stared at you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You couldn't help but take a deep breath and grinned with sharp teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You didn't get more ammunition. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You could only threaten and intimidate the quartermaster. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Under the other party's resentful eyes, you forcibly took away 2 Mark 19 hot melt bombs. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was a precious, holy object, stored in the regiment for thousands of ship days. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You passed through the complex and tortuous passages and found the Mortal Auxiliary Army ready to go. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This small force of only 500 people will carry out a resource exploration and recovery mission. The target is several fallen merchant ships in a meteorite belt. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The team's commander, Lieutenant Xie Eugene, welcomes your joining very much. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He expressed his appreciation for your noble behavior. Close black lens bracket. You narrowed your dark eyes and scanned the mortal warriors who only had laser guns and simple breathing devices. Open black lens bracket. Lieutenant Eugene, you are the real heroes. You looked at the other party solemnly and said, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Thank you for your recognition. For the homeland of the regiment, we are willing to go through fire and water. Lieutenant Xie Eugene saluted you emotionally. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. When the whole team is ready. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You and dozens of mortal auxiliary soldiers boarded a fist assault boat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The other 9 fist assault boats, led by your assault boat, slowly slid into the cold and dark void of the universe. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You looked through the narrow porthole and saw the huge fleet gradually moving away. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Among the large and small spaceships, the huge metal bodies of the Tyrant-class cruiser, White Mouth, and the battle barge, Water Monster, were the most eye-catching. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly retracted your gaze, and your armored palm subconsciously rubbed the hot melt bomb hanging behind your waist. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Time passed, and 10 fist assault boats quickly passed through the cold void. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You gradually approached the meteorite belt. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The violent sound of countless tiny cosmic dust hitting the outer shell of the assault boat continued to come, constantly knocking on the hearts of the mortal auxiliary army. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Soon after, the broken metal wreckage of several huge merchant ships gradually appeared in front of the assault boat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You put on the metal helmet of the power armor and were about to ask Lieutenant Eugene about the specific process of the mission. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Accompanied by the collision and knocking sounds of countless broken meteorites. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A fist assault boat at the edge of the flight formation was instantly entangled by a terrifying tentacle covered with round suction cups. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Dozens of mortal auxiliary soldiers were easily squeezed out of the fragile cabin like solid objects in a can and thrown into the cold void. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The sudden change in pressure and the cold temperature that penetrated into their bones instantly killed them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The simple breathing device can maintain simple actions inside the damaged ship, but it cannot withstand the dangerous environment of facing the void. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Kraken. It's the Void Kraken. We are dead this time. Lieutenant Xie Eugene just leaned on the porthole and took a look, and the terrified shouting filled the entire assault boat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You quickly stepped forward, raised your armored palm and knocked the other party unconscious. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You took over the command of the remaining 9 fist assault boats without hesitation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You ordered the entire formation to quickly adjust the flight path and prepare to evacuate in advance. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, a juvenile Void Kraken that was 5 times larger than the fist assault boat crashed into several huge meteorites, carrying countless cosmic dust and blocking your retreat route. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 9 fist assault boats had to change their flight paths again and circled back to the original place. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stared at the threatening Void Kraken. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You asked the driver about the assault boat's weapon configuration. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. When you learn that the assault boat only has heavy melta cannons that fire forward. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In a flash, a crazy idea gradually fills your mind. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Notify other assault boats. Start the heavy melta cannons in advance and rush towards the Void Kraken. You took a deep breath and issued an unquestionable order. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, you order all mortal auxiliary troops to wear simple breathing devices and hold on to their comrades or bulkheads. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After a few dozen seconds, when the 9 fist assault boats rotated again and gradually merged. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A series of hot melt beams were like invisible lances aimed at the young Void Kraken. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, you activated the magnetic boots and stood firmly on top of a fist assault boat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless tiny pieces of cosmic dust kept hitting your power armor, leaving clear and eye-catching marks. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly took out the 2 melta bombs hanging behind your waist and set a very short detonation time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You held the buzzing Raven chain axe in one hand and swung the melta bomb in the other hand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stood above the speeding assault boat, staring at the approaching Void Kraken. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The deep roar seemed to penetrate the heavy shielding of the metal helmet and echoed in the cold void that could not transmit any sound. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Come on. Octopus beast. Let's kill happily. Close black lens bracket. You stared at the hot melt beams like lances that suddenly cut into the huge body of the void kraken, easily cutting off several huge tentacles. Open black lens bracket. However, the silicon-based creature without blood and bones once again swung the remaining terrifying tentacles and quickly wrapped around the fist assault boat in front of it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A fist assault boat that failed to dodge was crushed into metal wreckage on the spot, and the engine that had not yet been extinguished had a strong sympathetic explosion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Due to the impact of the explosion, the huge body of the void kraken seemed to have shifted slightly, and even the forward speed was reduced a lot. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You quickly seized the brief opportunity to attack and unhesitatingly removed the magnetic boots of the power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were thrown out by the rapidly turning fist assault boat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were speeding in the cold void of the universe, like an indomitable death cannonball. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The juvenile void kraken did not seem to notice your existence. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The wounded creature opened its bloody mouth with ring-shaped giant teeth and let out a silent and terrifying roar. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You once again seized the fleeting opportunity to attack. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You swung your arm wrapped in power armor vigorously, and the two melta bombs that had just been activated flew out of your hands in an instant. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Compared to the void kraken, the extremely small melta bombs passed through the cold and dark cosmic void in the blink of an eye and fell into the opponent's bloody mouth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Accompanied by a dazzling orange-red flash, nearly one-third of the silicon-based body of the juvenile void kraken was blown into countless pieces. Close black lens bracket. A terrifying shock wave carrying countless corpse fragments and a large amount of cosmic dust quickly attacked you. Open black lens bracket. You couldn't stop your body from rushing forward. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You opened your arms with a calm expression. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You held the buzzing chainsaw axe tightly in your hand, ready to meet your final fate. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, 3 fist assault boats, with their engines running at full capacity, quickly passed through the cold void and blocked you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your power armor hit the metal shell of the fist assault boat heavily. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your powerful body, which had undergone multiple modifications, withstood the violent shock. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You survived by chance. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were lucky enough to complete the great feat of the human race, killing the void kraken alone. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drove the scarred power armor back into the interior of a fist assault boat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your combat performance won great respect from the mortal auxiliary soldiers present. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They all knelt on one knee and bowed their heads to you in respect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You raised your hand and took off the scratched metal helmet, revealing your sharp white teeth like a shark. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In order to commemorate the dead comrades, we need to work harder to complete this mission. You took a deep breath and said to everyone. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Soon after, 8 fist assault boats forced their way into the wreckage of several fallen merchant ships. Close black lens bracket. The surviving mortal auxiliary troops excitedly swept every deck and every corner of the merchant ship wreckage. Open black lens bracket. Finally, your careful exploration paid off greatly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You unexpectedly found 30,000 tons of grox meat that had not expired, as well as a large number of canned ant cows, from the wreckage of the merchant ship. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the lucky mortal auxiliary troops also found an ancient technological artifact safely stored in a cargo box. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You immediately ordered the communication personnel to send a message to the fleet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the first week, the huge hull of the water monster battle barge knocked away countless meteorites. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It cleared a wide channel for the subsequent large and small ships. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. More vehicles flew towards the wreckage of the merchant ship. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You returned to the battle barge with the precious ancient technological artifacts. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You met the company commander Sean, who was waiting for you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You described the important news of the discovery of food supplies in detail to the other party, and also handed over the ancient technological artifact to the other party. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You returned to your own private cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the help of Spongy, you took off the scarred power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly immersed yourself in the water tank filled with salt water, adapted to the cold environment, and gradually entered a dormant state. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. One ship day later, due to the serious damage to the overall structure of your power armor, mortal maintenance personnel could no longer cope with it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You had to go to the middle cabin of the battle barge and hand over the power armor to the technical sergeant in the company for repair. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just as you were about to turn around and leave, you were stopped by Captain Sean, who came after hearing the news. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Padrick, come with me. The chapter master wants to see you. The expressionless Captain Sean blinked his dark eyes and said to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You couldn't help but grin, revealing your shark-like white teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You followed Captain Sean through the passage and came to the upper cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You entered an ancient hall called the Shark Hall, with countless Astartes weapons and damaged power armor hanging on the surrounding metal walls. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stepped carefully on a thick layer of transparent glass. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You saw the blue sea rippling under the thick glass. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You accidentally noticed an extremely huge shadow slowly wandering under your feet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It is a legendary creature from ancient Terra, and the true source of our chapter's mark. It is probably much older than the entire chapter's history. Captain Sean, expressionless, stopped and stared at you with a pair of dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You nodded and followed the captain's steps again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You walked through the empty hall. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You saw the huge back of the Astartes, who was much larger than an ordinary Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He was wearing an ancient Terminator power armor, and on his casually hanging arms were a pair of terrifying weapons that integrated chainsaw gloves and lightning power claws, hunger, and thirst. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was the Lord of Space Sharks, the Great Reaper, the captain of the man-eating sharks, Scarlet Scar Tiberus. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stared at the other party's huge body, which was about 3 meters tall, and couldn't help but take a deep breath. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain. You and Captain Sean bowed slightly to Tiberus. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Padrick 5020, why aren't you wearing power armor? You heard the question from the chapter master. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. His emotionless and dead voice was like the roar of bombs, echoing in the hall and spreading into your ears. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You subconsciously straightened your back. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You had to look up at the other person. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Right in front of you, Chapter Master Tiberius showed a pale gray face with exposed bones and a pair of lifeless black eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You subconsciously blinked your equally dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You vaguely caught a trace of deep fatigue and tiredness from the other person's movements and expressions. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Report to the chapter master, the power armor is seriously damaged and is still under repair. You took a deep breath and said carefully. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Siobhan, go find him a suitable Terminator. Padrick, your contribution to the chapter is worthy of those precious relics. Tiberius's dead voice without any emotion sounded again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This time, you seemed to accidentally sense the fleeting relief and joy from the other party's words. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now, you are the captain of the reconnaissance team, Sergeant Padrick. The expressionless Captain Siobhan stared at you, and his voice seemed full of praise. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, before you could react. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The order from the chapter master Tiberius made you suppress the faint joy and refocus your mind. Close black lens bracket. You stood there expressionlessly, slowly spreading your sturdy arms covered with plastic steel interfaces. Open black lens bracket. A white-haired technical sergeant controlled the servo-mechanical arm on the power backpack and began to install the basic components of the power armor for you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You received a set of ancient Saturn-type Terminator power armor given by the chapter master. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A thick adamantine skeleton covered your body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless electronic muscle bundles were connected to your plastic steel interface, and the black carapace gained the authority to drive. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the continuous installation of heavier ceramic steel shells, countless probe sensors were gradually connected to your neural consciousness. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Finally, when you put on the metal helmet shaped like a canine, but the eyepiece was carved into a shark's mouth, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The buzzing sound from the auspicious instrument slowly sounded. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The motion sensor and threat detection device can also be activated at any time according to your wishes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This Terminator power armor, which is far more powerful and more complex than ordinary power armor, is enough to take your combat capability to a new level. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The technical sergeant who finished putting on the armor asked if you needed to paint your personal totem mark on the shoulder armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is the leisure time that the space sharks love to see, but engraving the badge of war merit requires the permission of the chapter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You thought about it and decided to let the other party paint a wolf head. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The technical sergeant looked at you with a puzzled look. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He asked you what a wolf is and whether it is some kind of ancient animal totem. Close black lens bracket. You couldn't help but take off the metal helmet and describe the appearance of the wolf to the other party with a helpless expression. Open black lens bracket. Soon after, you walked out of the middle cabin expressionlessly with a twisted monster painted on one shoulder armor of the Terminator. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You decided to change the totem after a while, and it would be better to change it to the Void Kraken next time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In this way, the white-haired technical sergeant will have a basic image concept. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You return to the lower cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You explained the task of Sponge guarding the private cabin and also arranged his meals. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The chapter fleet, which has received a large amount of food supplies, can be a little extravagant, not to mention that it is your personal food quota that is being used. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You entered the training ground and met your reconnaissance team for the first time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They are basically taciturn Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only a few people who were familiar with you in the past came forward to communicate with you and congratulated you on obtaining the Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You didn't mind it at all. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You sorted out your thoughts and announced the order from Chapter Master Tiberius to everyone. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You will follow Captain Zaven of the 3rd Company. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Head to the Astartes system in the Ghoul Star region to conduct a blood tax transaction with the Ash Claws warband. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Since Chapter Master Tiberius will personally supervise the grade tax transaction with those stingy mechanical guys. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. So, the person traveling with you was replaced by Librarian T. Kahalanji. Close black lens bracket. In the 2nd week, the Tyrant-class cruiser, White Mouth, rushed out of the chaotic and treacherous warp, and the Geller force field surrounding the ship slowly returned to calm. Open black lens bracket. Obviously, the foolish efforts of those ubiquitous warp demons to break through the Geller force field failed again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You entered the Astartes system. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is a complex area full of asteroid fragments and a large number of meteorites, which is very suitable for interstellar pirates and renegade warbands to hide their tracks and recuperate. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You received an order from Captain Sean from the communication device on your helmet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You notified the members of the reconnaissance team to prepare for landing. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You led the team members to meet up with Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You met the think tank leader T. Kahalanji for the first time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drove the Terminator power armor to perform the etiquette of the war group on the other party. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You unexpectedly saw a faint smile on the other party's pale and old face. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is an emotion that many space sharks have never expressed before. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You boarded a Thunderhawk transport and flew to Astartes Prime, where the Ash Claws were stationed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You heard the reminder from Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Astartes of the Ash Claws are not easy to get along with. They have long lost their loyalty and now fight only for themselves. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You grinned, revealing sharp teeth like a shark. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You lowered your head to examine the bolter and chainsaw axe. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As time passed, the Thunderhawk transport landed on the Prime with a desolate surface and a muddy yellow sky. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You led the reconnaissance team to jump out of the cabin first. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The bolters in your palms are ready to go, and the chainsaw axes can be activated at any time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your motion sensors and auspicious instruments captured an Astartes wearing black and red rebel power armor and 30 mortal warriors. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You noticed that those mortal warriors were wearing simple fur clothing, but they were holding lock bolters in their hands. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You immediately raised your hand to signal everyone to be alert. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stepped forward and had the first negotiation with the other party. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He called himself Sykes, and was a non-commissioned officer of the 1st Company of the Ash Claws who came to welcome the Man-Eater Shark Regiment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You turned around and reported the situation to the company commander, Sean, and the think tank chief. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Led by Sykes, you and your group went to the headquarters of the Ash Claws, the Lost Eagle's Nest. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Along the way, you kept your guard up and tightened your grip on the boulder. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You entered a rocky mountain. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You passed through a foundry with roaring machines and a food storage room. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also accidentally saw some rare scenes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For example, some mortal warriors who were on an equal footing with the Astartes and had meals together. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You even saw an Astartes who was intimate with a mortal woman. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Soon after riding several gravity elevators and passing through many complex and winding underground passages. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You finally arrived at the door of a banquet hall with a chapter emblem and a black crow carved on it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean from the Carcharodon chapter, please stop for a moment. You can lead a few people in, but the others need to stay outside. Sykes said respectfully to Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean, expressionless, looked at the librarian. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The librarian led his apprentice away from here. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean stared at you with his dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You immediately understood and followed behind him. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Stay alert. All the space sharks heard Captain Sean's low voice inside their helmets. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You expressionlessly clenched the grenade launcher in your palm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You and Captain Sean entered the banquet hall burning with blazing flames. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A few dozen meters away, a tall figure wearing old Terminator power armor was waiting for your arrival. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was the commander of the renegade warband Ash Claws, Nahart. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You space sharks actually have the nerve to come to me to do business. The cunning Tiberius stole my lightning power claws. How are you going to pay this debt? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The commander of the Ash Claws, who has long black hair and pale skin, stared at you expressionlessly and asked bluntly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket and heard the other party's hoarse voice full of anger. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. One of your hands dropped the grenade launcher, and the other hand slowly placed on the axe handle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With such a strong opening of the grenade, I am afraid that this blood tax transaction will be difficult to proceed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean took off the metal helmet of the Terminator power armor without hesitation. Google search reading. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The gray face and dark eyes that looked like a dead person were exposed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The commander of the Grey Claws subconsciously glanced at you wearing the old model of Terminator. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The dark and deep gaze turned back to Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 3rd Company of the Shark Eater. What happened to your Captain Akira? Nahat's Terminator power armor drove forward. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The opponent's footsteps did not make any sound, as if the silent stealth combat skills had already penetrated into the bone marrow and integrated into the blood. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Killed in the battle with aliens in the depths of the extra system void 10 years ago. The expressionless Captain Sean blinked his dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seemed to see the fleeting sadness on the pale face of the commander of the Grey Claws. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. I still remember the last time. Akira's arrogance and stupidity almost killed you. This time, why did you come? Nahat crossed dozens of meters of space in the blink of an eye. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He walked in front of Captain Shawan, and the distance between the two sides was no more than 3 meters. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. New blood transaction. Captain Shawan said concisely. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. What, your blood tax is invalid. The pale face of the Grey Claws chapter leader showed a faint sarcasm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The chapter is still in the war stage, and the huge alien threat is approaching from the extra system void, and the Empire knows nothing about this. They must be stopped. Captain Shawan blinked his dark eyes, staring at Nihat expressionlessly, and explained slowly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. What can we get? The tall figure of chapter leader Nihat suddenly flashed in front of you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Neither the motion sensor inside the helmet nor your sight can even capture his movement trajectory. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You subconsciously tightened the handle of the chainsaw axe, waiting for Captain Sean's order. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Weapons and power armor sufficient to replenish the missing supplies, to show your lost glory days. Captain Sean stared at you with a pair of dark eyes and stopped your risky behavior. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. There seemed to be a hint of sarcasm in his words. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Does the mechanical old man know that you are trading with traitors and traitors? You will be sentenced to treason by the Empire you claim to be loyal to. The pale face of the Grey Claws chapter Captain Nahart showed a hint of mockery and a hint of hidden loss and anger. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The supplies obtained by the Grey Tax belong to the chapter, and how to trade is our will. New blood and fleet support are the final bargaining chips of this transaction. Captain Sean said the bottom line of the transaction between the two parties expressionlessly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, the chapter captain of the Grey Claws seemed to be completely angered by Captain Sean's words. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He once again activated the Terminator power armor, and in the blink of an eye he appeared in front of Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Do you know what I want most? Let the cunning Scarlet Scar return my lightning power claws. I want my hunger and thirst. Nihat's long black hair fell on the cold ceramic steel, and his eyes stared at Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You suddenly raised the grenade launcher, and the black muzzle was firmly aimed at the other party's exposed head. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also pulled out the chainsaw axe and held it tightly in your hand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, 10 Grey Claws wearing ordinary power armor suddenly sneaked out from the depths of the hall. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A bolter pointed at you and Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just when you were about to activate the shield generator of the Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Forcibly relying on the powerful protective ability to cover the captain to kill out. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Grey Claws chapter Captain Nahart suddenly raised his armored hand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He very rationally stopped the next move of the Grey Claws and eased the conflict between you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You quickly analyzed the strength of the enemy and us. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You looked at Captain Sean, who seemed to be fearless in the face of danger. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You did not choose to put down your weapon, but just slightly moved the muzzle of the gun aimed at the other party's head. Close black lens bracket. I have no right to make a decision, and the Scarlet Scar will not hand over the power claws, weapons and power armor, plus some gene seeds that can delay genetic degradation. This is all I can bring to you. Deal or? The expressionless Captain Sean blinked his dark eyes, staring at the gloomy Nahart and said slowly. Open black lens bracket, deal. The gloomy face of Chapter Captain Nahart changed repeatedly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He suddenly smiled at Captain Sean with gritted teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You suddenly heard the team members report from the communication device. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 20 Terminators from the Claw of the Ashes appeared outside the hall, completely besieging everyone. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stared calmly at Nihat and Captain Sean as they reached a prerequisite for completing the deal. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The space sharks will participate in a brutal gladiatorial fight. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If you win, the deal between the two parties will be successfully completed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If you lose, you will leave the supplies and leave empty-handed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Nihat made way for you and Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are about to go to the gladiatorial pit to participate in the battle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean drew out his chainsaw axe and planned to go into battle himself. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You repeatedly persuaded him and stopped him. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean stared with a pair of dark eyes, and after thinking for a moment, he agreed to your heroic action. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, he made a decision without any emotion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If you unfortunately lose or die on the spot. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then the entire three companies will launch an orbital bombardment on the main planet of the Grey Claws, and more intense group conflicts are inevitable. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You remained silent, just patted the heavy breastplate of the ancient Terminator with your palm covered with ceramic steel armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You once again passed through the complex and tortuous underground passages. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You came to a noisy gladiatorial pit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A large number of Astartes monks and mortal warriors of the Grey Claws stood on the stone stairs above. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They kept shouting fiercely and swearing in the planetary dialect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You handed the only grenade gun to the company commander Sean for safekeeping. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You jumped into the gladiatorial pit without hesitation with a chainsaw axe in your hand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stepped heavily into the sandy ground soaked with smelly blood with your magnetic boots. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The fight begins. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The cold voice of Nahart, the head of the Ash Claws, opened the prelude to the fight. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A Chaos Astartes with a broken ceramsite shell, an even older model of power armor, and two chain axes in hand slowly walked out of the shadow of the fighting pit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You identified him from the two chainsaw axes covered with blasphemous runes and mottled bloodstains on the opponents. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket and the Legion emblem on the blood-red power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was a World Eater from the 12th Legion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A traitor heretic who was accidentally captured by the Ash Claws. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The next second, the roar of the chainsaw axes in the hands of both sides continued to sound. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The World Eater, with the buzzing butcher's nails, gave a vague roar first. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The tall and terrifying figure pounced on you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. His steps seemed to be full of violence and anger, and even the speed of the charge was far beyond that of ordinary Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You gripped the chainsaw axe without hesitation, and the extremely heavy Terminator power armor rushed forward quickly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even though your movement speed was much slower than the opponent. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But the powerful protection ability of the Terminator power armor completely solved your worries. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You didn't have any defense plan at all. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You let the opponent's chainsaw axe fall heavily on the thick ceramic steel armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The harsh metal collisions and violent friction vibrations did not make you feel the slightest fear. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The terrifying charge of the World Eater did not even make you retreat a step. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The chainsaw axe in your hand was like an unstoppable tide, slashing at the opponent's broken power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The World Eater, who fought very violently, seemed to notice your reckless fighting style of exchanging injuries for injuries. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just as he tried to intercept your swing with another roaring chainsaw axe. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your huge power armor leaned back slightly, and your head with a metal helmet hit the opponent's helmet heavily. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Instantly, the broken eyepiece blurred the opponent's vision, and the violent shock also temporarily affected the opponent's judgment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your chainsaw axe suddenly changed direction. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket accompanied by the rapid rotation of monomolecular saw teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A sturdy arm holding the chainsaw axe suddenly flew into the air, and then fell heavily to the ground, smashing a shallow pit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Boiling blood splattered on your ceramic steel armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You heard the obscure roar from inside the World Eater's helmet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also smelled the disgusting stench of chaos on the opponent. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You did not give the opponent any chance to react. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You swung the roaring chainsaw axe mercilessly, and the monomolecular blade deeply embedded in the neck where the ordinary power armor's protection was most vulnerable. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The World Eater's other chainsaw axe kept hitting the heavy shoulder armor of the ancient Terminator. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But it only destroyed a thick layer of ceramic steel and did not cause any real damage to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And with the sharp roar of the chainsaw axe and the continuous spurting of a large amount of blood. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You suddenly raised your armored thigh, and the huge force that was enough to kick a mortal fell on the opponent's waist and abdomen. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You took the opportunity to grab the traitor's head that was about to break and pulled it off with force. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, the headless corpse that was kicked away by you fell heavily to the ground, splashing countless sand and dust. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You took a deep breath. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You raised the bloody head wrapped in the broken helmet high. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You raised the still roaring chainsaw axe with force and pointed it at the silent gray claws above the fighting pit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You completely ignored the increasingly gloomy expression of the chapter master Nahart. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your deep and hoarse voice penetrated the layers of barriers of the dog-shaped helmet and slowly echoed inside the fighting pit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If any one of you dares to come down, I will beat 10 of you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the third week, you won the gladiatorial contest. Open black lens bracket. The Grey Claws sent 3,000 young children according to the transaction between the two parties. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. These children will become the new blood of the space sharks, the future Carcharodon Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also learned from Captain Siobhan that the fleet support in the transaction between the two parties seemed to be rejected by Chapter Master Nihat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Siobhan believes that the Grey Claws have forgotten the original intention of being created. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But Nihat believes that once the Empire knows the existence of the Grey Claws, it will travel through the endless void to annihilate them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As exiles, the Grey Claws have long been unable to obtain the glory and honor of fighting for the Empire. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Padric, remember, glory and honor will only bring arrogance and weakness. The Carcharodon never needs such things. We have only one goal, and that is the enemy of mankind. Captain Siobhan, expressionless, stared at you with a pair of dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You nodded heavily and slowly put on the barely repaired dog-shaped helmet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the 4th week, the Tyrant-class cruiser, White Mouth, passed through the warp and returned to the increasingly large void fleet of the Space Shark. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless ancient supply ships, agricultural ships, cargo ships, slave ships and even the forging ship, Steel, were surrounded and protected by a large number of Relic-class warships in the center of the fleet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This scale of assembly and formation undoubtedly foreshadows the advent of a terrible war. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You found other technical sergeants to complete the goal of repairing the Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You returned to the battle barge, Water Monster. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. On your way to the private cabin, you saw countless solemn mortal warriors and Astartes monks ready to go. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You lowered your head and thought for a while, then turned and went to the crab-shaped hall. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You obtained a large amount of fresh water and enough food for mortals to sustain for a long time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You returned to the private cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You met Sponge, who was trying to learn the power armor repair technology. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You asked him about the situation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You didn't get any useful information from Spongy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You settled the little boy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You ordered him not to leave his private cabin unless the food and fresh water ran out. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You went to the training ground and found all the team members. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You led the fully armed team members to the bridge, which was almost full of ancient relics. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You walked through a bridge explosion-proof door engraved with a shark emblem and entered the interior of the bridge. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You saw the captain of the 3rd company, Sean, who had just separated, and the captains of other large companies you had never seen before. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You even saw the think tank chief and his apprentice Wukari, who you hadn't seen for a long time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, everyone stood quietly on the dimly lit bridge deck, silently waiting for orders. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You took off the dog-shaped helmet and tucked it under your elbow. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seemed to feel the heavy atmosphere and the bloody smell of the terrible war in the turbid air. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, among countless alien bones and precious relics, the huge war band leader Tiberius slowly stood up from the metal throne engraved with the image of a shark. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Wearing a metal helmet, he announced to you an important news that could shake the space sharks. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Tyranids in the void are gathering in large numbers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. According to the estimated data, a terrifying swarm of nearly 500 million is about to sweep across the Pious galaxy, a temple world with rich resources. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And according to the many illusions that the think tank chief can see through the psychic vision, there may be an alien sect lurking in the core class of the local imperial state church, and it is they who called the Kraken hive fleet to step out of the void abyss. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. War band leader Tiberius will personally go into battle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The entire fleet, led by the battle barge and the flagship of the chapter, the water monster, will desperately try to stop the attack of the hive fleet and try to prevent the tentacles of the hive from breaking through the borders of the empire. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the three companies you are in have only one goal. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That is to go to the Pious system, dig out the alien sects there, and eradicate the beacons that attract the hive. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If you fail to complete the task of eradicating the alien sects. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Or the hive fleet continues to move forward after you succeed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Every ship, every battle brother and every mortal servant in the Carcharodon chapter fleet will be devoured by the hive. Open black lens bracket. Your three companies will become the only possible surviving company of the space sharks and the only successor to the exile decree. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After listening to the low and dead voice of chapter master Tiberius. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Shawan, who seemed to be unable to suppress his emotional fluctuations, knelt on one knee. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He asked to fight alongside his brothers and fight to the death for the fleet's homeland. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Master Tiberius said nothing. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The huge man just stood there, slowly exuding an indescribable terrifying aura. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean, expressionless, pounded the chest of the power armor and had to stand up. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seemed to sense a silent gaze like a hot beam. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You blinked your dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stared at the huge master Tiberius. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly revealed your shark-like sharp white teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Without any hesitation, you performed the ancient military salute of the Carcharodon chapter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You broke the silence on the bridge without authorization. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. We come from the ocean of the void, where there is only darkness. For the Empire, for the Emperor, space sharks, we will fight to the death. You suddenly raised an arm and let out a low roar. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Including Captain Sean, the other captains of the Grand Company, turned their eyes and focused their gazes on you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even the librarian's apprentice Yukari couldn't help but open his dark eyes wide and looked at you with a dull expression. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, the silent chapter master Tiberius did not stop your reckless behavior. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The librarian T. Kahurangi squeezed out a faint smile on his old gray face. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. More psychic foreshadowings seemed to flash in those dark and deep eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. May the Emperor bless you. He seemed to utter a fleeting murmur. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As everyone watched in silence, you slowly lowered your raised arms. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You put on the dog-shaped helmet again, covering your pale face. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the 5th week, the White Maw Fury-class cruiser that had separated from the fleet broke free from the constraints of the warp. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The cruiser that entered the Pius system quickly sailed towards the planet Pius V. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless defense monitoring stations belonging to the Imperial Navy and the cargo ships that came and went were like frightened schools of fish, avoiding the cruiser's route and avoiding the unknown evil star ships. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You handed a relic-level incendiary gun to the white-haired technical sergeant and asked him to help install it on the top of the Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The ancient Saturn-type Terminator allows the wearer to operate an additional weapon. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is just one of the precious equipment you forcibly obtained from Captain Sean through harassment tactics. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You began to hang a few fragmentation grenades and 3 holy level melta bombs on the waist of the power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You glanced at the other members of the entire reconnaissance team. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They were inspecting the explosive ammunition that was far more than before and the chainsaw axe with replaced teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The captain asked me to tell you. This is just once, and it won't happen again. The white-haired technical sergeant blinked and grinned. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Next time, I'll tell you next time. You showed your shark-like white teeth and grinned. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just then, a rare chapter chaplain walked towards you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He began to imprint the purity mark on your Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You spread your arms and let the other party move at will. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Accompanied by the chapter chaplain's murmured prayers, 13 purity marks fell down, shaking slightly with the flowing air inside the cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After finishing everything, the chapter priest bowed slightly and quietly left your surroundings. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You put on the dog-shaped helmet again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You heard the order from Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are about to arrive at the planet of Pius V. The Tyrant-class cruiser, White Mouth, stays above the orbit to maintain the firepower threat of orbital bombardment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A large number of Astartes monks will take the Thunderhawk transport to the surface. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean tries to contact the top leaders of the state religion to understand the situation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your task is to enter the interior of the planet in advance and conduct preliminary reconnaissance at some places where suspected alien sects gather. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If you encounter fierce resistance, you need to hold on until the arrival of the entire company. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You took a deep breath and commanded the reconnaissance team that was ready to go to a squad-type airdrop cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a heavy storm bolter and entered the interior of the airdrop cabin as the last person. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the gradual closing of the cabin wall, the dark airdrop cabin began to drop. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You feel the shaking and trembling from the airdrop cabin and close your eyes slightly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A minute later, the terrifying scream that cut through the air penetrated the cabin wall and echoed in the dark interior. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, the airdrop cabin's recoil thrusters suddenly started. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Accompanied by the mechanical sound of the cabin walls slowly opening. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drove the Terminator power armor and jumped out of the airdrop cabin first. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A pair of heavy and hard magnetic boots stomped heavily on the delicate stone floor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You held the storm bolter ready to fire and quickly scanned the surrounding environment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were actually airdropped into the church square of a monastery, and panicked mortals and clergy exclaimed and screamed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The members of the reconnaissance team quickly jumped out of the airdrop cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They maintained a scattered but stable defensive formation, constantly scanning the surrounding mortals through the auspicious instrument. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You gradually frowned. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You did not find any aliens in your sight. Only many mortals trying to escape. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, you suddenly looked at the closed door of the monastery church nearby. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You remained silent. Just waved a hand gesture, and several members of the reconnaissance team quickly stepped forward and scattered around the door of the church. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drove the Terminator power armor forward and kicked away the metal door engraved with the statue of the Emperor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just inside your dog-shaped helmet, the motion sensor and threat detector suddenly made a buzzing sound. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, a series of scorching laser beams continuously fell on the Terminator's thick ceramic steel armor, only burning off a layer of spray paint. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Oh wow, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You can't help but grin, and the storm grenade gun in your hand burst into a terrifying roar. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Shengmeng seafood delivered to your door. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The attackers inside the church are not hybrid gene stealers. Google search and read close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They are just human believers who believe in a beautiful vision. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But the space shark's bolters are never reasonable. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The reconnaissance team's bombs instantly shattered the confidence of the human believers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They began to panic, shouting blasphemous slogans for the four-armed emperor, and launched a death charge towards you regardless of everything. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After the first round of bomb shooting, the members of the reconnaissance team subconsciously put away their bolters. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They silently raised the roaring chainsaw axes, drove the power armor and launched a brutal collision with the remaining human believers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In an instant, flesh and limbs flew everywhere, and human heads and intestines danced. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The fighting style of the Astartes of the man-eating sharks is probably no different from that of the world eaters. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Colluding with aliens, you are sentenced to death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly put away the storm bolter and activated the communication device to inform the company commander of the situation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You accidentally learned that the local pope was attacked by an assassin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the help of an inquisitor, the company commander Sean confirmed the existence of the Genestealer sect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Astartes of the First Strike team, together with the think tank and the inquisitor, went to the underground passage of the slums to check the entrance of a suspected Genestealer nest. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your reconnaissance team received an order to go to the Absolution Square and assemble with the company. Open black lens bracket. You glanced at the interior of the church where there were no living people, and immediately issued an order to retreat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You led the reconnaissance team and quickly passed the overlapping churches and monastery buildings. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Before the night of the planet Pius V fell, you successfully arrived at the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were very vigilant and passed the ragged mortal believers standing around the square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Their number has exceeded your imagination. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this time, the Astartes in the company are arranging positions for defense. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 15 land raiders are parked in the inner circle of the position. The twin fire heavy bolters installed on them have been debugged and are ready. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 10 Rhino transporters have become simple defense facilities, scattered around the outermost edge of the square, blocking all the streets leading to the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The heavy tracks of 5 destroyer Predator tanks crushed the delicate stone ground and slowly rushed out of the cabin of the Thunderhawk transporter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The destroyer heavy firepower team of the 3rd Company is installing a Cyclone missile launcher on top of the power backpack. They are basically equipped with plasma cannons or heavy bolters. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You accidentally saw that many precious power axes and chainswords were also distributed to the hands of the Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You stopped the familiar white-haired technical sergeant. Close black lens bracket. You snatched an ancient power axe from the hand of the man with a resentful look. Open black lens bracket. You found the expressionless Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You expressed your concerns about the battlefield position to the other party. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The environment of the Absolution Square is too empty, and there are too many commanding heights of the surrounding buildings, which is very unfavorable for the Astartes on the battlefield. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. We don't have more time. Half a pious day ago, the home fleet had a fierce collision with the Hive fleet. All the people in the 3rd Company must become bait to attract the leader of the Genestealers to appear. Captain Sean stared at you with a pair of dark eyes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You fell into silence. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You nodded heavily and turned around to prepare for battle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As night fell, more and more mortal believers gathered around the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Due to the interference of the atmosphere, the vague communications from the Guardian militia were connected to the Astartes communication devices from time to time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. There were riots and chaos in various parts of the city where mobs attacked churches. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. According to Captain Sean's order, you set up a group of transmission beacons in the center of the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was an arrangement made to guide the Astartes of the Terminator squad to the battlefield. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You plan to go to the cathedral on the side of the Absolution Square, which has become a temporary command post, to report the situation to Captain Sean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, you suddenly heard a familiar voice from the communication device. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The time has come, fellow Void brothers, the future of the chapter will depend on you and me. Prepare to fight. Captain Sean's deep voice seemed to blow the horn of war. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Accompanied by deafening shouts and howls, countless Genestealer cultists mixed in with the ignorant mortal cultists and launched a terrifying attack on the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. One by one, the priests of the Genestealer sect showed up, and they continued to preach evil doctrines and incited more people to join in. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The aliens were like waves of terrifying tides rushing onto the shore, trying to drown the Astartes standing in the square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The harsh roar of bombs rang out one after another, and the Land Raiders' double-fire heavy bolter showed its terrifying firepower. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The ferocious mortal cultists and the purple-skinned and bald second-generation gene stealers were instantly blown into countless flesh and blood. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, countless aliens had no fear of this. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Some third-generation gene stealers who could use weapons gradually appeared in the alien team. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They raised their mining laser guns and needle pistols and launched a sneak attack on the Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The silent man-eater controlled the bolter and accurately shot at the aliens that could pose a threat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. More aliens chanted the scriptures and slogans of the Genestealer sect, and kept going to their deaths. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, the crazy believers did not seem to be fighting a fierce battle, but were rushing to a pilgrimage one after another. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The explosive gun above your head kept spewing out terrifying firepower. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even the storm bolter in your hand never stopped. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Unfortunately, the aliens that kept pouring into the Absolution Square did not decrease at all, but their numbers increased. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You heard the order from the communication device from Captain Sean to evacuate everyone towards the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just as you were about to retreat, you saw several battle brothers who were trapped by the aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They tried hard to swing their chainsaw axes and chop at the aliens that kept coming forward. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But their range of activities was gradually shrinking, and their tall figures were about to be submerged by the alien tide. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You quickly put away the storm bolter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You drew out the power axe and the roaring chainsaw axe without hesitation, and launched an indomitable bloody charge towards the alien frenzy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It seemed as if a carnival of flesh and blood had been set off in front of you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The blood intertwined with bright red and dark purple kept pouring on your Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With your fearless fighting skills, you violently killed a terrifying bloody path. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several silent shark battle brothers surrounded you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They cooperated with your violent slaughter and advanced towards the direction of the cathedral with difficulty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, you accidentally saw a rocket that had passed through the alien frenzy and was fired at the team's position. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You instantly activated the shield generator on the Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You moved your magnetic boots violently and blocked the way in front of everyone without hesitation. Close black lens bracket. The violent explosion of the rocket obscured your vision. Open black lens bracket. The powerful force field generated by the shield generator blocked the damage of the fragments. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The impact caused by the explosion did not even shake your Terminator. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, accompanied by a sharp whistle, the whirlwind missiles of the destroyer heavy firepower team flew through the air one after another. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Falling into the blood and flesh tide composed of aliens, a terrible explosion occurred. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The cannons of the 5 Predator tanks roared violently, and at the same time, they crushed the hybrid aliens that were almost everywhere with their heavy armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For a moment, the surging trend of the aliens seemed to be temporarily curbed for a moment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seized the brief opportunity. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the protective force field of the Terminator power armor, you covered your fighting brothers and rushed into the range of the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, the aliens that surged again, even the attack method gradually upgraded. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The buzzing of the laser gun turned into the performance of the heavy logging gun. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Genestealer sect occupied the commanding heights around the Absolution Square and launched a fierce counterattack from a high position. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even though the opponent's shooting accuracy was not high, several unlucky battle brothers were penetrated by the power armor and fell heavily to the ground. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Accompanied by the praise and shouts of countless aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The mixed blood acolytes of the first generation of Genestealers waved 4 arms, and they joined the battle with stolen weapons in a terrifying shape. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, one by one, 3-meter-tall Genestealer aberrations rushed into the Absolution Square waving heavy industrial weapons. Open black lens bracket. They surrounded the Land Raider and Predator tanks, trying to destroy the heavy armor of the vehicles. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Space Sharks could not afford to lose any heavy vehicles. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean immediately issued an order to retreat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The drivers inside locked the vehicles one after another and tried to break through under the cover of the Astartes, shooting. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Those clumsy hybrids are difficult to recontrol, so it is possible to recover the vehicles after the battle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After only 10 minutes, the combat vehicles on the Absolution Square were almost useless. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 3 companies now lack cover protection and some fire support. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Company Commander Sean ordered the Destroyer Heavy Fire team to release more firepower to suppress the surging aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The beams of plasma cannons and the roar of heavy bombs continued to sound, and each volley could destroy thousands of Genestealers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But this is not even a superficial damage to the endless tide of aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The storm bolter in your hand kept shooting at those tall aberrations, trying to reduce the defense pressure for the entire company. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, a large caliber lumberjack bullet hit your protective force field. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The consumption of protecting against the impact of large caliber bullets also caused your power backpack to emit a sudden and violent buzzing. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A battle brother standing next to you had no time to dodge, and his tall figure was completely torn in half by the logging gun. Open black lens bracket. Captain, we must take down the commanding heights. You shouted to Captain Sean through the communication device. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The next second, accompanied by the light of transmission, a tactical team of all Terminator power armor appeared in the center of the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The flamethrowers in their hands instantly sprayed out burning promethium, fiercely burning the surrounding aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You saw the team leader Kolo holding up the roaring grenade gun and leading the entire team to attack the surrounding commanding heights. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A reserve team took advantage of the brief gap cleared by the destroyer team with its powerful firepower and rushed into the Absolution Square to provide necessary support for the Terminator team. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Afterwards, the 2 teams that had completed the merger with difficulty formed a wedge-shaped offensive formation and launched an attack against the aliens that were coming again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several silent battle brothers sacrificed themselves to provide an important opportunity for the 2 teams to approach the commanding heights of the building. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several Terminators carrying jump packs jumped up in an instant, wielding chainsaw axes and grenade launchers, and jumped into the commanding heights, suppressing the heavy weapons firepower of the aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The battle pressure in front of the cathedral was temporarily relieved. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean sent out several other teams to reoccupy part of the square and hold the front line. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A few minutes later, the Terminator team that completed the assault mission occupied the commanding heights of the building and began to suppress the enemy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, just when you thought the situation was temporarily relieved. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The flank of the square position gradually fell into a state of loss. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A group of mixed blood cultists drove the stolen Chimera transporter and forced their way in, opening a gap for the subsequent alien tide. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You once again wielded the power axe and chainsaw axe to rescue. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You used all the fragmentation grenades on your body to blow up the Chimera troop carrier that tried to turn around. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You escorted the injured combat brothers into the interior of the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean stood in front of the cathedral door, and he received the reconnaissance data from the flying vehicle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You instantly saw several bursts of rising flames under the dark night sky. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was the short-lived victory of the flying vehicle, killing the small leader of the Genestealer sect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Sean stared at the alien tide that was going crazy again, and chose to shrink his defense. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several squads of Astartes who were defending their positions retreated into the cathedral, and even the Terminator squad occupying the commanding heights deliberately slowed down their shooting. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This caused countless aliens to begin to violently attack the front door of the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your storm bolter has already run out of ammunition. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. While controlling the incendiary gun above your head to spit out the remaining flames, you wield your power axe and chainsaw axe. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Captain Shawan also joined the battle. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He silently wielded the chainsaw axe named Death, and his combat movements were terrifying and efficient. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless aliens who rushed forward were chopped into pieces of flesh and blood by Captain Shawan. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, the alien tide, which had always been extremely ferocious, suddenly stopped for a moment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then the fangs and claws of the aliens actually retreated to both sides, slowly making way for a wide road leading directly to the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You subconsciously glanced at Captain Shawan. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The company's deliberately weak fighting style really caused the Genestealer leader to move. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A 6-meter-tall Genestealer leader, covered with black chitinous carapace all over his body, with 4 terrifying claws that almost dragged to the ground, showed a hideous and terrifying huge figure. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Its steps were slow and heavy, and each step seemed to be full of powerful force, like a king walking among his subjects. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The terrifying alien leader stepped onto the stone steps and was about to enter the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Astartes fighting brothers behind you drew out their chainsaw axes and prepared to launch an attack. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You also clenched the power axe and the chainsaw axe in your hands. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, your vision suddenly became blurred, and the head hidden in the dog-shaped helmet had a severe stinging pain. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The company commander Sean standing next to him also stopped moving suddenly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It seemed to be a psychic attack launched by the Genestealer leader, a hypnotic gaze. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You forcefully break free from the shackles of psychic energy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You endure the intense pain and roar at the top of your lungs. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For the Father of the Void. Close black lens bracket. Your roar instantly awakened Captain Sean and other battle brothers. Open black lens bracket. They reacted quickly, and the roar of plasma cannons and heavy bombs once again resounded through the interior of the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, countless Genestealers quickly poured out from the side of the Patriarch. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They used a large number of flesh and blood corpses to block the most threatening attack. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless bombs with greatly reduced power grazed the extremely swift Patriarch, not even touching the opponent's chitinous carapace. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You and Captain Sean desperately swung your weapons, tearing the alien flesh in front of you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several silent battle brothers took advantage of the brief gap you created and rushed to the Genestealer Patriarch in front of you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You witnessed with your own eyes the terrifying offensive launched by the king-like Stealer Patriarch. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The four thick claws just hit lightly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several battle brothers shattered along with their power armor, and countless corpses and blood clots fell all around. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The hot blood of the battle brothers splashed on your Terminator power armor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You subconsciously let out a roar full of anger. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your voice seemed to stop abruptly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seemed to have fallen into a crazy state called blindness. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You threw a buzzing chainsaw axe in the direction of the Patriarch without hesitation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The opponent who couldn't dodge in time had a piece of chitinous shell wiped off. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You madly waved the only remaining power axe in your hand, silently driving the Terminator forward. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The blood and flesh of the aliens covered your power armor, and even the eyepiece shaped like a shark's mouth was covered with blood. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. There was only blood red in your field of vision. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are killing silently with the help of some kind of keen perception that surpasses that of the Astartes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You actually relied on your impenetrable and violent offensive to gradually approach the vicinity of the leader of the thieves. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just as your subconscious mind was struggling and trying to forcibly detonate the hot melt bomb you were carrying. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the cathedral that was gradually flooded by aliens, the dome carved with countless prayers and portraits shattered. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A huge dreadnought airborne pod smashed into the ground covered with blood and flesh, crushing a large number of aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A 5-meter high, ancient dreadnought mecha of the Contemptor type, which exuded heat and cold breath, suddenly jumped out of the cabin. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was the forerunner of the third company, the ancient Edico. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was also the last killer of the company commander Sean, in addition to the orbital bombing that would kill both of them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The huge and ancient dreadnought mecha suddenly let out a roar mixed with mechanical sounds. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Those fighting brothers who were still fighting hard seemed to be inspired, and the speed of their swinging chainsaw axes seemed to increase a bit. Close black lens bracket. You dodged with all your might and barely passed by the Genestealer chieftain. Open black lens bracket. The heavy shoulder armor of the Terminator was lifted off by the opponent's terrifying claws, revealing the extremely complex mechanical components inside. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You forcibly activated the protective force field that was on the verge of collapse, and swung the power axe to block the way for the Steeler Chieftain to retreat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The flamethrower installed on the chest of the Contemptor Dreadnought mecha spewed out huge scorching flames, constantly burning the aliens inside the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It took heavy steps, danced a huge and terrifying siege claw, and also turned the three-headed siege drill in its other hand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The ancient Contemptor Dreadnought mecha launched a nightmare-like terrifying charge towards the Steeler Chieftain, who was barely blocked by you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Steeler Chieftain seemed to feel the fatal crisis. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It raised its terrifying claws again and quickly swung back at you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You didn't have time to dodge. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You can only rely on the protective force field and the heavy armor of the Terminator to withstand the attack. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In an instant, the protective force field, which was already on the verge of collapse, made a miserable hum and completely collapsed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. More than a dozen horrifying scars easily penetrated your Terminator power armor and penetrated deep into your chest. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even your dog-shaped helmet was accidentally cut open with a hideous crack. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A dark eyeball appeared behind the broken eyepiece. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were blown away by the terrifying force. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You seem to have exited the crazy state of blindness. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A large amount of blood spurted out of your mouth, nose and chest. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The transformation surgery from Astartes gradually took effect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your wound began to stop bleeding quickly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You fell heavily to the ground, smashing a deep pit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are about to fall into the encirclement of more aliens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your consciousness is gradually blurring. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your mouth curled up slightly, revealing your shark-like white teeth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the short time you forcibly endured the fatal attack of the Thief Chief. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The ancient Edico had already approached the opponent's back. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. While you were still in midair, you saw the huge siege claw of the ancient Contemptor-type dreadnought falling heavily. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, accompanied by the fierce counterattack of many fighting brothers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Yukari, the think tank apprentice who had followed the first strike team to the chicken thief's lair, suddenly showed his embarrassed figure from the side hall of the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He raised a palm desperately with serious injuries. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. An extremely powerful psychic energy was released to imprison the tall body of the Steeler Chieftain. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The next second, with the continuous efforts of you, the Ancient One Edico, and the think tank Yukari. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The master and ancestor of the invincible Genestealer sect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Completely turned into a pool of disgusting purple minced meat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You slowly exhaled. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You closed your eyes with peace of mind. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You waited for the aliens' claws and swords to come. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You gradually fell into a coma. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are on the verge of death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, accompanied by the roar of the Stormbird attack transport ship's engine and the whistle of the Terrorclaw landing capsule. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 3 companies of Ashclaw Battle Brothers landed on the planet of Pius V and began the killing operation to eliminate the aliens without stopping. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At the same time, 2 Terminator squads equipped with ancient iron cavalry Terminator power armor were also teleported to the Absolution Square. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They fought their way to the cathedral. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were on the verge of death and were given simple battlefield first aid by the pharmacist of the Ash Claw. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You survived by chance. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Soon after, the wounded Captain Sean led the Battle Brothers of the Space Sharks to have a brief encounter with the Battle Brothers of the Ash Claw. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 2 parties, who were originally hostile to each other, actually worked together to eliminate the remaining Genestealer sect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For a moment, the roar of bombs and the hum of chainsaw axes once again resounded in the Absolution Square and the surrounding buildings. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And as a ray of fiery red sunrise gradually broke through the night sky of Pius No. 5. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This short and fierce battle seemed to have come to an end for the time being. Close black lens bracket.